Hello, good evening, and welcome once again to In the Know, brought to you by the Racing Post and Coral, with another Cheltenham preview. And we've been doing it for a few weeks now, but I'm sure you've probably seen 408 of them elsewhere. But this is the best, of course, and that's why you're here. With a little over a week to go until the first race of the 2024 Cheltenham Festival, of course. Well, I mean, they say at this time of year that if there's any news, it's bad news, and we've already lost a couple of potential stars in the past 12 hours. So with a week to go, fingers crossed that your anti-post tickets are still running by the time they jump off for the Supreme. But with Constitution Hill's almost inevitable ruling out of the Champion Hurdle, we'll revisit that race tonight, and we'll also have a look at the Ryanair, the Triumph, and the Albert Bartlett as well. There'll be plenty of chat, of course, and we'll be getting really ready and gearing up for our opinions. I think they're starting to solidify, starting to get into that place where we're all convinced we know the winners. And then, of course, we'll start to doubt ourselves by the end of this week. We are live and interactive, of course, so get involved on that chat box on YouTube. Thank you to everyone who's already watching tonight. Hello to Duncan Evans, to Paul, to Dale Grimble, to Music Mike, to Devo, and to Philly47. Thank you ever so much for joining us. Now, as ever, we're joined by some of the finest minds in the business, starting off with the man who wrote this entire book on his own in a basement in 24 hours. No, it takes him a lot longer than that. But the Cheltenham Festival Guide is available right now. But we have the Festival Guide in human form next to me, Paul Kealy.
And it certainly wasn't a one-man job. All I've done is the horse profiles at the back.
It says Paul Kealy's in-depth race-by-race Festival Guide. It doesn't say anyone else's name on the front here.
No, that's not true. There's loads of people, plenty of people worked on it. Worked harder on it than I did.
Okay, well, I feel they should have been credited on the front.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's I mean, you've got pretty much everything in there, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you've got everything up there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, mate, it falls out from up here all the time these days, I promise you.
What's the ratio of your opinions when you've typed them up in this versus what they develop into?
Well, it's so in advance, isn't it? You have to do a lot of this stuff. You have to do so far in advance. You don't know the final fields. You don't know what the grounds are going to be like. You don't. But
sometimes I think because we've had it in the past, you can overthink it on a week.
I try not to be wedded to opinions that I had a month ago.
Yeah.
Sometimes you end up being so, but I mean, how many? If you were asked to pick winners a month in advance all the time, everybody would have a shocker, wouldn't they? You know what I mean? So you've got to try and look afresh. And next week we'll be looking afresh again when we actually know the runners.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's difficult because there's different times, different publications that we've got to do. And I mean, by the end of it, you've tipped half a dozen horses in every race. I think.
Yeah.
You can't even remember what you did.
You got a 4 to 6 Dutch.
But I mean, your opinions change. I was saying earlier on, I in this Ultimate Cheltenham Guide, I fancied a couple of horses in the Fred Winter. One trained by Gordon Elliott, one trained by Gary Moore, and now I still fancy horses trained by Gordon Elliott and Gary Moore. They're just not the same ones anymore.
Yeah.
And that's the way it goes. I shall probably change my mind again come Tuesday.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And at the bottom of the hill, and as they're about to cross the line, and
absolutely, yeah.
After the race as well.
Yeah.
There's also that's also available as well. They've got plenty of names down there, including me down there as well. There's 1,200 words of absolute gold from being there as well. Delighted to be joined in the studio as well. Coming to prove whether it is as hot and sweaty as we've been discussing it is over the past few weeks. Simon Clare has quite sensibly come in with a short sleeve shirt on.
Dressed for summer, haven't I? I got the memo. God, it is warm in here, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
And that's because the festival's hotting up, Simon.
God, yeah, festival, the week before the festival, exactly, yeah. But Paul crediting all the people not named in the book is a bit like when Aidan O'Brien wins the Derby and proceeds to name all the staff and you think, he's just doing that, it's all down to him, isn't it? That's self-deprecation.
Absolutely.
We know it's Paul's magic.
Not at all. Production team behind it, worked their socks off to get all that out. I had nothing to do with that at all, just penned a few words.
As with this show as well, we do have. Have you seen the episode of The Simpsons with the bird toy that just goes up and down and presses a button? We've got 2 of them out there running the show. But no, we also have an incredible production team for all the audio-visual stuff as well. And without them, we'd never be able to see the beautiful face of Tom Segal, would we?
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Look at that, fresh face.
Hello.
After you could have just slept in here last night, mate.
Oh, God, tell me about it. What a nightmare I had getting home last night.
That's all
Shocker.
Right. Well, and I did look, and after all your protestations, I mean, I thought I'd save you the chance, and I said, yeah, I'll come to you, and I'll buy you lunch today, and I'll finally meet Tom Segal, my hero, my idol. But you had other things to do. You were, I don't know, toasting a tea cake or something. What was it? You had other stuff?
Yeah, I had to mow the lawn, Ross. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fair enough. It's that time of year, isn't it? But I assume with your mammoth preview last night, then all your opinions are a copper-bottomed now?
Far from it. Like Kealy says, they change every 2 minutes. I mean, horses are dropping like flies today, aren't they? So, luckily, I don't think I've had any major reverses on that front, but normally I do. So, no, not at all. Loads more information to be gleaned in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully loads tonight from the other boys as well.
Yeah, so we have obviously had one piece of news which was a little bit less surprising than the other, of course. I think as soon as that news broke with Constitution Hill, most of us were doubting his participation at the festival, and it has been confirmed that the champion hurdle favourite will not be running at Cheltenham next week. But that was at the start of the day, and then about half an hour before we came on, we've also lost the favourite for the Arkle as well. Marine Nationale will be out for possibly up to 6 weeks, so he won't be going. So that's the second and third races of day one without the anti-post favourites as well. Does that mean Ballyburn tomorrow, guys? Is that what?
Well, I mean, Ballyburn was back down to almost evens for the Supreme yesterday, and he was at one point this morning he was a shorter price of running the Bear in Bingham, or shorter price for the Bear in Bingham on the exchanges. So that is up in the air. I think there's such tiny amounts of money going on there that nobody actually knows, and I think that sort of proved it today when it went the other way.
Well, I think it's the real thicket of preview season. I think people will latch onto one thing, won't they, and then pile into. We'll be the first ones onto this.
And they'll be studying forecasts. It's a dangerous thing to do that when you look at the forecast, because you're trying to second guess what is the ground going to be next week. So I think the perceived wisdom is if the ground dries out, the Bear in Bingham is actually almost the easier race for a good thing to run in and win. Which I
think it's normally the easier race for a good thing to run in and win, isn't it?
Exactly. So if the ground was to dry out, I think that feels. But if it doesn't dry out, then they may stick.
It does look like there's half a dozen days of dry weather according to the Met Office. But then.
Yeah, let's not.
Exactly.
I'm putting a veto on any weather predictions or anything like that.
Because the water may not come out of the ground. There's been so much rain for the last 2 months. There's this assumption that a few days of dry weather. I know we always think Cheltenham, it only takes a week, but they have changed the drainage system there.
It does drain well. Yeah. However, I mean, I've been getting trains all up and down the country the past week or two, and I mean there are. My new favourite game is that a lake? Or is that a flooded field?
Yes.
Because you go past and there's swans, there's geese, there's ducks, and they must think this is absolutely fantastic because they've got brand new playgrounds. But every single part of the country, sort of south of Sheffield, pretty much is flooded. So, but anyway, never mind that, because we don't know what it is until they jump off. And then even then, Tom, we don't know what it is until the times come back for the Supreme. And then you don't know what it is because you have to work out whether they dawdle or went quick anyway. So we probably won't know until the end of Tuesday, will we?
I doubt it, but I'm more interested in your new favourite game, Ross. What is it? Spot the Lake?
Is it a lake?
Those long winter nights must just fly by.
You wouldn't know, Tom, but do you know how long I spend on trains going into this studio? I tell you.
I do, from last night. I feel your pain.
Absolutely. This country would be an absolute joy to get around, in theory. But I've got a lot of time on my hands looking out of windows, wishing I was a duck. Hello to everyone. Asia Master each way in the Supreme, says that Joe's up 69. JPR 1 in the Arkle. We've already got opinions coming out here for everyone at home. Duncan Evans says the complete works of Shakespeare, the Bible, and Paul Kealy's betting guide. Every house should have a copy. Right. Let's rattle on then, shall we? With no real impact from the weekend, but obviously we're going to talk about the Champion. Just a quick word on the Arkle, Tom. Obviously with Marine Nationale out, I think a lot of people have kind of deserted him after that Leopardstown run last time anyway, but he was still 9-4 fav.
Yeah, I mean it's a bit of a shame I think Keels will probably be in the same position as me. We quite like the favourites that you want to take on, be it staying in.
Yeah.
because you get a little bit bigger price about once, the each way value gets bigger and all those sort of things help us out. But with him out, I don't know. I presume Keels wasn't going to tip him. We're taking half the price we were before. So, horse like him, I'm not so. It doesn't really help in our favour. But obviously, I backed State Man earlier in the season, so that's a big help having Constitution now. So it works in roundabouts, but. Yeah, the Arkle's wide open now, isn't it? I mean, it's. I don't think it's a very good race, and I think there's a chance that something from left field can win it.
The Champion Hurdle, though, potentially an open goal for State Man now, who's currently 1-3 in the bet in Lossiemouth 3-1, Irish Point 9-2. I mean, obviously my new favourite game of is it a field or is it a pond? But my other favourite game is what will run in the Champion Hurdle, Keels, because we could end up with a 10 or 12 runner race now, couldn't we?
No.
No?
No, I don't think we can. I mean, I think the thing is that State Man was as far clear of the rest as Constitution Hill was of him. So he's 2-5 now. He'll be 3 on. We need one of Irish Point and Lossiemouth to run. Otherwise, Not So Sleepy is second favourite, isn't he?
Yeah.
And Love Not So Sleepy like we do. He's a 12-year-old rated 150 something. And, it's not going to be much of a race, is it? Now, connections of Lossiemouth have said, we'll leave her in. But she ain't going, basically.
Well, they can go for this next year. She's only 5.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, she's going. She's odds on. She's odds on for the mares, and she'll probably be better next year, etc., etc. But that takes one out of it. So the only other one was Irish Point, who was also joint favourite for the Stayers. If he runs in it, he's a horse with a lot of potential. He's obviously won his last 4. At distances from 2.5 to for a 2 mile or 3 mile. And he's looked very good every time he's run. He's still got a big chunk to find with State Man, but there's 95 grand up for second, and I can't see what beats him for second. I really can't. I mean, Love Not So Sleepy as we do. I mean, Lucia is rated what 140. That's 5th Fav. We're talking horses that should be running in handicaps.
I mean, we're talking Echoes in Rain hitting the frame at this rate, aren't we?
Yeah, well, it wouldn't surprise you, would it? I mean, she's never jumped well when she's ever run at Cheltenham, has she? Zane here has finished 3rd in it twice, got disqualified once. He could come back. I wouldn't particularly.
And he's only
fancy
7.
Yeah, I wouldn't particularly. He's been chasing, isn't he? And he got off the mark at Thurles in February, but it doesn't strike me as a proper chaser. Nemean Lion won the Kingwell.
I mean, he's rated 151 and he's 7 years old and he's on the upgrade. So I don't think if he was a comfortably beaten 2nd or 3rd, you'd say fair enough. I think, right?
I think so. Yeah. And the ground, he lapped well on the ground. Was he placed in the Coral Lanzarote, which we know is very good form after serious operator franked it even more on the weekend. And the only thing about Irish Point is he's a staying hurdler. I mean, he's a shorter price for the stayers. Would they really?
Well, I mean, the thing is, the same owner as Tiapu as well, and it does seem that Gordon Elliott has been sort of half reluctant to run them against each other anyway, because he was talking about running when Constitution Hill was in the race, and he said he's pretty keen on the idea now. I think he said that today. So,
I mean, in my head, my theory with Irish Point was that Aintree race is perfect for him. So. Why bottom him in the Stayers Hurdle? Come here. If you did run a creditable race in 2nd or 3rd or whatever, then that sets you up perfectly for Aintree. But now, I guess, is it almost the same? Is that the same scenario now? Well,
it is. Yeah. I mean, if you're good enough, you're good enough, and if you're not, you're going to finish 2nd.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's better than the others, isn't he? I think he's a very good horse, but
clearly,
and we have
State Man has won 10 of his last 11. The only horse to beat him is Constitution Hill. It's his to lose now, isn't it?
Yeah. And we saw with Theatre World in the years of Istobrat that you can also run a horse knowing you're not going to try and beat the odds-on favourite. You ride them to take the place prize money.
Well, Zana here, another example.
Zana would be your archetype one of that. I mean, they would definitely try and win it with Irish Point. But I think the rest of them know they definitely.
I think the rest of them as well. There's been loads of horses over the years.
I think the rest of them know they definitely can't. Whereas the one thing you don't know about Irish Point is quite how good he is yet.
Yeah.
So I guess what we are saying, Tom, is that the without State Man market is going to be pretty lively on the day.
Yeah, I mean, what about horses being supplemented in, Ross? Could things come in from left field? When's the supplementary? Is it this week?
Yeah,
tomorrow?
it's the 6-day stage, isn't it?
Well, I guess that's what I mean. I think you might get horses who have got big weights in the county or whatever who think, you know what, we might finish 3rd in a Champion Hurdle.
That was exactly where I was going. What about Iberico Lord coming in here now? Constitution Hill's out. He's better than Lucia. He's thrashed Nemean Lion. I think he'd be I think he'd be third fav in this.
Yeah.
If he ran, I thought, the chances of getting soft ground on the first day is probably, if the forecasts are right, I wasn't going to go there, but I did. Are better than Friday. He's won on the track. He won the Greatwood. He's won the Betfair. Wouldn't be the weirdest thing if he was to turn up here. I'd back him each way if he was running in this. I think he'd beat Irish Point, actually. I think he'd be second. So something from out left field can come in here and sort of muck up that idea. That's why I don't really like getting involved in those sort of without markets until I know the actual field, because I've done that before.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of the horse, parachuted in and did me. So I'd like to wait and see what the supplementary entry sort of, goes by before we get too, stuck up in trying to find who's going to come second, because I think something will fly in. JP's used to doing stuff like that. I don't know if it'll be a Barraco Lord. I don't know what the plan is. That could be just pie in the sky, but I think something will come in, because it's a wide, you can finish second. That's for sure. You can finish second.
The top three weights in the county hurdle are actually still in the race: Pied Piper, Phil Duder, and Colonel Mustard.
Yeah.
And actually, it's funny. The county hurdle usually sometimes would have higher rated horses at the top of the weights. So they're 156, 150, and 146. I mean,
where are all the 2 mile hurdlers?
Even the Irish ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the problem. There aren't any good ones,
Are there?
Well, I'm just looking. I mean, looking at the Coral Cup and thinking, if I own Blue King Doru, who's won over 2 miles at Cheltenham, didn't stay 3 last time out, and is 25-1 for a handicap, I might fancy spinning round for third in the champion hurdle instead. So, okay, anything can happen. But it's going to be a shame, isn't it? Because if State Man does run to the level he has been running this season and improves again, I mean, he could win this easily, but still, everyone will be saying, "Oh, yeah, but." And we kind of said that last year as well, Keels. Constitution, if only State Man had given him a race. This year, it's going to be the other way.
Well, we underappreciate a horse because there's one much better than him around. But I mean, he's good enough to win an average champion hurdle, isn't he? Definitely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just that there's a exceptional horse around him at the same time, who unfortunately isn't going to line up Tuesday.
Yeah.
We got an in the know special to win by over 4 lengths. State Man 6-4. That's non-runner money back, so you can place that bet knowing that his State Man was to come out. You get your money back, and I think that's not bad. I mean, for a 1 to 3 chance, I think they'll want to win and win. They won't be like by over 4 lengths.
Okay.
It's not crazy,
he won by 5.5 at Leopardstown, 5 at Punchestown.
Softish ground, winning distance exaggerated.
Yeah.
Again, I know I always say this. I think it's a good bet to place, and you always say, but you've made place. They've come in lately.
It's not horrific.
It's not horrific.
Cheltenham's not. Cheltenham's not a place you start easing up with 100 yards to go, is it?
No.
You know what I mean?
You don't need to, do you?
And we haven't had a tight finish since Bouvardere and Mellon, have we? I mean, the rest have been fairly comfortable successes in the grand scheme of things. Okay, I think that's all right actually. But obviously, the ultimate price boost sage is Tom Segal. So let's go and see the reaction.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, it's not too bad, is it?
That's what I meant.
yeah, absolutely. There you go. Stick that on the posters. Not horrific. Oh, funnily enough, it's not too bad. You two should be in PR.
That's right. It's a glowing endorsement, isn't it?
Your job's in trouble here, Simon.
Honest, I wasn't really listening. I'd switched off.
Once I started speaking.
Really?
Fair enough. Okay. And now you're pretending you've got connections problems. I get it. Okay. What else have we got? Average is an understatement, says Dale Grimble. Dale Grumble, more like. Imagine it with no State Man. God, what a thought. And that's about it. No huge. Lossiemouth will win the mares by a mile, says Dunners. And like I said, I think they come and have a crack at this next year. Why not? And that's about it, I think. So there we go.
Final thing, Ross. Keels is Under Control's biggest fan. Do you think she might actually run in this now? And she's still entered?
Well, I wouldn't have thought so, because it's just a case that they don't want soft ground for her, and if it's likely to be softer on Tuesday than anywhere else. Wouldn't have thought so.
Just trying to think. They'll run something though, won't they? And it's already entered. She's already entered. I just don't know.
When you say they, you mean the Henderson?
Nikki and JP. It's a wide open. Well, it's a race. She's a mare. Maybe I don't know. I'm just thinking aloud, really.
There was some each way money for First Street today. I saw.
Keels, is that you?
No.
Again.
No.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, anyway, that's enough champion hurdle chat because State Man will win by over 4 lengths, and that's 6-4 lengths. So, right, 3 more races we're going to get properly stuck into then. And again, they all take a bit of. Well, I mean, in particular, the Ryanair, it does take a bit of kind of working out, even looking at the market at this point, because El Fabiolo is 7-4 favourite for this for the Ryanair. Banbridge is 3-1, Envoy Allen is 3-1, Fast or Slow is 7-2, Stage Star is 7-2, it's 6-1 Capodanno, 8-1 Conflated, and 10-1 Phil Dor. So you've got 8 horses on screen there, and I reckon 3 are almost guaranteed not to run, and you might even get another 1 or 2 out as well. So there are a few on the. Who aren't on the page, who would be a lot shorter, I think, on the day. I might have a little squeak. The likes of Fugitive, Protectorat, Hoy Senior might go as well. Appreciate It, maybe, who's 10 years old somehow. I've no idea how that's happened. Makes me feel old, that's for sure. But Tom, coming to you first for this Ryanair, because El Fabiolo won't run. If it's as soft as we think, Banbridge won't run. Fast or Slow probably won't run either.
Fast or Slow definitely will he?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean...
He's a billion. He's a billion to run, isn't he? He's in the paper saying he wants to win the Gold Cup, so he's a billion.
I mean, so we're going to have... Obviously, Banbridge, if everything's all right, he's a worthy favourite. We might have Envoy Allen, Stage Star and Capodanno, the sort of 3 at single figures to beat.
Oh, what a miserable thought, that
It's yeah. It's possible, isn't it?
That's one to get the golf clubs out and have a little chip around in the garden.
I tell you what, we probably won't even find out at the 6-day stage, will we, either? Because they'll all stay in there, because they get half a dozen owners' badges, don't they?
Yeah.
We're in the 6-day stage. Every horse entered gets half a dozen owners' badges at the 6-day stage.
You think Mr. Ballymore's Fast or Slows, who owns half of the world?
Doesn't matter. They hand them out to all their mates, don't they? They know it's done. Everybody does it.
Yeah, fair enough. Because of that, Tom, I actually think this isn't a bad market to get involved in, though, because there's a few.
I agree.
A few big prices that will be a lot shorter, I think, and I think they've been missed. I think partly they're missed because people can't be bothered to scroll down and look at them.
I agree. I think it's more open than that. I mean, obviously, Banbridge is the key horse. I think he stands alone, honestly, if the ground is suitable for him. I think they'll give him a whirl this year, whatever the ground myself, unless it's heavy, because I don't think they'll think they can get a better chance than this. I mean, Envoy Allen's old now, isn't he? I know he's got a very good Cheltenham record. Has he won 3 times or whatever, twice at Cheltenham? Three. And he won the race last year, beating Shishkin. But I thought that race completely fell apart. If Envoy Allen wins, it's disappointing. It's a disappointing race for me personally, because he's too old now to win races like this. Stage Star's very interesting, isn't he, if he's back to his Paddy Power form. Problem with him is, I don't know, did he injure himself in the Paddy Power? He looked horrible. He was hanging and everything was wrong in that. I know Paul Nicholls blamed the ground and he says he's got him back and all those sort of things. Oh, I don't know. I'm lukewarm on his chances after that last run.
I mean, it's not an isolated incident either, Tom. I mean, in his career, he's pulled up 3 times. He was last to 5 at Aintree behind Banbridge. I mean, he's had that's 4 big races where he has either pulled up or been tailed off. So he does have a stinker in him. Absolutely. And then
as you say, that there must be something at bigger prices. I think Conflated could run well. Capodanno can run well. I know Keels doesn't like Phil Dor and thinks he's a bad price, but I don't know. I'm beginning to warm to him a little bit. He's a 6-year-old getting better. He's the sort of horse. He reminds me of Henry de Bromhead's horse that won this, Balco Day Flow a bit. He's just a horse getting better at the right time. Didn't jump at all last year. He went novice chasing as a 5-year-old. He ran quite well against El Fabiolo at Cork. Moscada was a long way back. I'm not sure that's terrible form myself. I'm slightly warming to him, although I get Keels' point that on ratings and everything, he should be double the price. But I just think there's a bet waiting to come about here, and I'm struggling to find it because I think if the ground's good, Banbridge will win. I think he stands, as I say, head and shoulders above these.
Yeah. I mean, there are a few interesting horses in here. Just to pick up more on Stage Star as well. I mean, that Turners last year, Tom, not a single win from his rivals out of that race. And I mean, the novice chasers last year were, much of a muchness full stop, I think, weren't they? But it's it's pretty poor form, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, he just looks a bit skinny to me. I mean, there are other horses who are bigger prizes. I think one I quite like, Keels agrees with, so I'll leave it to him in a second. But the other one is Protectorat, whose Cheltenham form is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, third. You know, that fifth was in the Gold Cup. His form over shorter than 3 miles is a win and a second where he should have beat Midnight Shadow. He came from God knows where. So he could be unbeaten over fences over this trip. I was a bit worried about his run style, but we did a preview last night with Dan Skelton, and obviously his last 2 runs as well. He was, you know, I think the last 10 winners of the Ryanair have either made all or raced prominently. And Dan Skelton said, "Well, we'll be doing one of them." And if he doesn't quite get home in the Gold Cup, but that's the kind of horse you want for a Ryanair, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. He's got clearly the form to be a player in this. He's definitely on the list. I hadn't really thought about him as of yet, but
he's certainly one of the highest rated horses in the race, isn't he? That's going to run.
He's not. I mean, if you look at it, his past 6 runs, apart from the run at Haydock where it was shocking, he's run to 167, 168, 169, 169, 167. I mean, if he does that here,
he's in the frame at least.
Bang there.
Yeah, he's guaranteed in the place.
He always turns up, doesn't he? And Dan's also running well. And funny, if you watch back last year, I remember Envoy fighting off, with Shishkin coming late and Hitman on the scene. It was only when I watched it back, there were loads in contention turning for home, and that happens quite a lot in the Ryanair, doesn't it? I was watching about Dynas from years ago, Tom Skua, and there were loads coming to the second last.
Well, I remember Min's year as well was fantastic as well. I mean, there was 3 of them at the line.
Exactly. So I think that's where you do. I mean, he's been running over much longer trips, and even last time in the Denman Chase, he was sort of staying on at the death, behind Hitman, who I think's got a very good chance actually. Hitman was 3rd last year. He looks as good as ever off the back of that last run. He actually watched him in his first run after a wind. First run of the season. If you watch, he was actually there in contention of top weight under Freddie Gingell. Just tired late on, but would have needed that. Second run back, run a good race behind Shishkin. And I think he'll run well again. He's primed for this, right age profile. But I think Protector was just behind him, staying on late. That was over 3 miles of the Denman Chase. Yeah. Obviously, this is a stiffer test, much stiffer test.
Well, if he goes out, and if he does make it a test from the front, I think it could be fairly hard to
catch. I think those 2 are the each way.
I think what we're also missing though, right, is because there's a really hot favourite in the Champion Chase and a really hot favourite in the Gold Cup. This race, any horse that can run in it will.
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be deep.
So I think there's going to be a lot of runners. And then you start looking at the horses that are going to run in it and that aren't going to hang around. Stage Star for one, Conflated, or Hoy Signor, Protectorat. Right? And this is going to be a big field. Now, the way I see it, now I know you say front runners have a great record and all that, but if you go too fast anywhere, you go too fast. And this could easily have the field of a big field handicap at Cheltenham where they go hard. And who's better suited to that than Fugitive in the race?
Well, I mean, there are so many races over 2.5 and the 2.5 at Cheltenham, and the specialists keep coming back and back and back.
Yeah, and he's a cracking horse around that, on both tracks. But this one or the other one, he just runs really, really well. Like 3rd in the January Trials Day last year. 3rd at the festival, 2nd at the festival at Seddon, 4th to Stage Star, beat El Redoto in December, and then finished 3rd in the
Cloud's House. That's right.
In the Cloud's House, which was way too short, but he was still finishing powerfully at the end, wasn't he?
Well, I mean, at the bottom of the hill, he was 30 lengths off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was struggling like mad. So I mean, he's a proper 2.5 mile horse. They're going to go really hard, and he will charge up the hill. And if they cut each other's throats, he's going to be a massive player.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think he's a winner, Keels, myself.
I think you're probably right. It's one of those. If a horse rated only 157 wins the Ryanair Chase, you're going to be a little bit disappointed, aren't you? But by the same token, he just does run the track really, really well, and I just have a feeling it's going to have a bit of a big field handicap feel to it.
Yeah, 157 is probably only about £9 off the top weight, is it? I mean, it's not. It's like a limited. He's not miles away from the top, is he?
I do think bizarrely, Banbridge is weirdly underrated though, but that's probably because we talk about. Nicky Henderson gets some stick for Constitution Hill, but we've seen Banbridge once this season. There are plenty of other horses that are genuine Grade 1 horses who pop up every now and then. I mean, Banbridge is one of those who obviously didn't run in this race last year. I feel like we should have seen him win more Grade 1s than he has done.
Yeah, he's still very unexposed, isn't he? I mean, his win last time, Pictory made a mistake actually last time.
I do think
they won last time. Pictory or Banbridge?
I think Banbridge would have won anyway. they think he is very, very ground dependent, and I think
Yeah.
that's the problem with it.
He's won a couple of times on soft ground, though, hasn't he?
Yes, but obviously this is a different level, isn't it? You know, the grade ones on soft ground are slightly different, aren't they?
Yeah. And his wins.
Is it that much different from beating Pictori?
Well, it wasn't that soft at Kempton.
No, that was just.
Yeah, but it was good to soft, wasn't it?
Good to soft is fine. Any softer than that, and he doesn't like it by all accounts.
I think what put them off last year was the downpour the night before, though, wasn't it? I think if it doesn't rain all week, I think they'd be a bit mad not to take the chance here, really. But I
agree with you, Ross. What about one other to throw in there? What about the old boy? Well, what about he's not an old boy? Ahoy Senor running well. He's the highest rated horse in the race. He's rated higher than Protectorat for starters.
How's that then? How's it? You've said that now, and I'm thinking, is that off the run? No, you're right. I'm just trying to work out why. I guess the second to Shishkin is where he's got that number, hasn't he? But,
well, the handicap just hasn't dropped him. Well, he's actually no.
Oh, he's not. He's down to 160.
He's down to 160. He's down to 160 now.
Well, anyway, he's the top rated
He's not.
on Racing Post ratings.
But that's 12-month form, isn't it? And it's been 12 months since he's shown it.
Flipping heck, you're shooting me down here, Kealy. All I'm trying to say.
What we're saying is, Tom, no chance, mate. Nah.
All I'm trying to say, he's a pretty good horse on his day.
Oh, he is a good horse.
He has got big performance in the locker, hasn't he?
He'll belt one, won't he? Or 5.
He jumps so well in the Cotswold Chase.
Oh, he can do. Yeah. He can do. There's no doubt about it.
But he's a Ryanair.
On everything, wasn't he?
He's the type of old. I mean, he's an old style Ryanair winner, isn't he? Because you'd have those horses who had genuine top class grade 1 ability, and then it all came together with the Ryanair. It became their race, so it could well be him.
I've always felt he didn't stay 3 miles properly.
Yeah.
Always felt that. When he went at Aintree last year, he should have beaten Shishkin. And he just blew up. He just stopped running coming to the last. Always felt he wanted to drop down in trip. So, look, all I'm saying is if he put it all together, he's good enough to be a player in that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Although now, the more we're speaking, I'm looking at it, looking at the price of Fugitive, who admittedly is very good, but has only handicap form, and the price of Protectorat, who...
That's what I think. Ross. I think at the end of the day, class usually comes to the fore, and those two, Ahoy Senor and Protectorat, look like my type of bets now that I'm getting more stuck into this race thanks to you lot.
Yeah, I'm genuinely getting. I'm like, I wasn't that bothered about the race, but suddenly I'm like, this is actually one of the few that's left to get stuck into.
It's a really good race because you know these horses so well, don't you? And they've been around a long time, running in different races over 2 miles, 2.5, 3 miles, handicaps, graded.
What do you think of it? It's really dry and it's good ground. We'll all be saying Banbridge 2-1. That'll just win, won't it?
He'll go off 6-4 and win by 4 lengths. But fair enough. You know who's missing? Sansa.
Wrong track.
Yeah, I know, but I was just getting that warm feeling of
wrong year.
Wrong year. Yeah, fair enough.
We have got an in the know special.
Not the edge running, Ross.
I was going to say all the lads.
We got an in the know special. It's a Gordon Elliott to win this race. He has 3 entries, although I think only Conflated and Fildor are going to run 9-2 from 100 to 30 for Gordon Elliott to train the winner. But given it's deep and there's many runners, I'm not sure that's as good as our State Man winning distance special.
No.
But if you're a Gordon Elliott fan, you like them both, bit of value.
Lovely stuff. Mark Allison says Banbridge was entered 3 times in autumn meetings that were abandoned. So fair play. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh to Banbridge, Mark. You've got a better memory than me, that's for sure. Martin Lewis station on no chance. He says. What else have we got? Just again, it's hard because people just. It's just big arguments start to unfold on the chat, and I don't know if they're disagreeing with us or disagreeing with each other, or I don't know. Maybe they've set up multiple accounts and are arguing with themselves. You never know. You just never know. So plenty of opinions, but what were our opinions here? I'm going to back. I think I've talked myself into Protectorat.
Yeah.
I think. What about you, Keels?
Yeah, I can see the case for Protectorat. I mean, I'm a bit of an old fan of his. I've been trying to get off him for a while, but I mean, I backed him against Longpress at Lingfield, and I managed to leave him alone against Shishkin. But I can see the case for him. But I've had a few critics around Fugitive.
Okay, and Tom?
Well, when I did it anti-post, I was on Fildor and Ahoy Senor, but I think Fildor's maybe a little bit short now, but I think he's going to run well. I just think he's getting better. Ahoy Senor, yes, I'll stick with him, but you might talk me into Protectorat if that, from what you've said earlier on.
Yeah, I could see him going off a single figure price. Simon?
Protectorat, and I think Hitman's going to run really well.
Yeah, I mean, when you said Hitman last night as well, I did. There was a part of my brain that was like, if Hitman wins, I'm giving up. But I'm looking at the race and thinking he's not far off.
Well, he looks at one point to be running all over Shishkin, didn't he? But that's
Hitman.
That's 3 miles.
That's him, isn't it? I mean, that's the problem. I mean,
Does he stay 3 miles?
I've been saying, no, I don't think he did. But I mean,
if you can tell me what Hitman's trip is,
doesn't go past horses anyway, does he? I mean, that's the problem. I've been a fan of his for ages, but he just doesn't seem to get the job done, does he?
No, fair enough. But it would be a very Ryanair result if Hitman won it.
Exactas, trifectas, Hitman, Fugitive, Protectorat.
Yeah,
That'd be good.
I mean, it'd be one of those where, we'll say that now. It'll come in. Everyone will go, what the hell is this result? None of us will have backed it, and the cycle will repeat itself. Yeah. Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe we'll learn from my mistakes. There's still time. The Triumph Hurdle on Friday is the next race we're going to have a look at, and Sergino. I really struggle to say his name without breaking into song. I keep saying his name to the tune of "Sit Down" by James. Oh, Sergino, but that's just me. He's 4-6. Cargese is 6-1. Majborough 6-1. Stormheart 9-1. Salva 12s. Liari 12. Salvatore Mundi 12s. Bunting is 14-1, and there's loads of others in with the squeak as well. Nürburgring, Ethical Diver, Give Me 5. Bottler's Secret. There's loads of horses in here as I turn to the enthusiastic puppy that is Paul Kealy here.
Well, I was going to say, when you said I can't say the word Serginio without, I thought you were going to say without having a rant about how's the lay of the entire festival.
I mean, I was going to get to that,
which is what you did about early on.
It's a 4-6 for a juvenile in the Triumph Hurdle off the back of one win. In a race that's probably going to have 14, maybe 16 runners in when you start to go down the field. And I don't know, I'm looking at him thinking, who is backing a juvenile at 4-6 2 weeks before the Triumph? Have I gone mad? I know he's clearly very good. Obviously, he's very good.
He's obviously very good. I can half see where you're coming from. I'm one of those, I think he'll win. I think he's very good. But you have got to be, slightly worried about the form of Nicky Henderson Yard, obviously. Worst February since the 1990s, apparently. It's got to, we're going to have an upturn in fortune with him at some point. He also beat a horse that pulled the jockey's arms out and didn't get home. So you can question the form. The time wasn't brilliant, was it? It's not, and Willie Mullins is going to run about 7.
Yeah.
You can see it. I do think he's the only one with potential to be any good, I think, really good, as a 2-mile hurdler.
Yeah.
I think Majborough has got loads of promise, but he's a chaser, isn't he? He's not going to be 2-mile hurdler for long. I've actually backed Ethical Diamond each way because I thought it was very eye-catching, to say the least, in the spring juvenile hurdle when he'd have been right on top of all of them if it had been put in a race. I just thought he was being geared up for a handicap, but they haven't given him another run.
He will be a nice horse. He's massive as well.
He reportedly works extremely well as well.
Yeah. He was sent off favourite for the race beforehand.
He was sent off. He was sent off for favourite for the first race. Did absolutely nothing at all. Yeah. And so maybe they thought, well, he's not right, and we'll get him handicapped. I don't know, but he was just so far out of his ground in that race, and I thought he ran really well. Willie Mullins paid 320,000 guineas for him. He had an RPR of 96 on the flat.
Do you know what? I look at him, right, and he's got good ground flat form. And I'm looking at him and thinking he's going to enter into your Mullins, Ascots, and Cesarowicz's, and then maybe Melbourne Cups in time. I think he's clearly a very, very good horse.
I think it's potentially very, very useful. I think he'll love. He can go a little bit left at his hurdles. I think he'll love there only being 2 if he can keep himself together for the first half of the race and only have a couple in the second half. And I think he'll charge up the hill as well.
Okay. What price is Ethical Diamond at now?
25s, I think.
The screen, I think it's 25s, isn't he? Yeah, okay. Yes, and one man who's going to completely disagree with everything I've just said is Tom Segal, but I'm going to keep throwing you other things. There have been 48 horses who've come into the Triumph, rated 145 or higher in the past 15 years, I think, Tom. 6 of them have won. Admittedly, a lot of them have been, similar profiles from Henderson. You definitely Seals, you definitely Peace and Co, Soldatino, but they were 3-1, 7-2. Tom, why is he so short?
I'm going to disagree with everything you said. Starting with "Oh Sir Gino" to the James song when there's a Dexys Midnight Runner song called "Oh Gino."
Yeah,
I know.
What's going on?
I realised that when I started singing it. Is that the song I'm thinking of? Am I mixing it up?
Oh Gino. Now, funny, when you said it, I thought you were going to say exactly like Tom's, because I've been humming "Oh Gino" from Dexys.
No, that's the right. Am I singing that song, but to the wrong?
I think you must be. Yeah, it's a brilliant song. Oh Gino.
No, anyway.
It's Midnight Runners.
Yeah, Dexys Midnight Runners. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, your era, Tom. But Sir Gino.
Oh, that was below the belt.
No, come on. I can imagine you were a new romantic, right? Surely. Sir Gino. Okay, tell me why he's so short then, because you think he's the.
Well, I just think the rest are rubbish, Ross.
Fair enough.
I really don't like the form of the Irish horses at all. I thought they all finished in a heap. I get Keel's Ethical Diamond might be the best of them. I think you're probably right. I think the rest of them are very, very moderate in terms of the normal standard of juveniles. I think he'll win by quite some way. 10 lengths. We've got a 10-length one for me, Si.
I'll try and come up with one for you if you want. A 10 over 10 lengths market.
Wow,
Yeah, good
okay.
price.
I don't like any of the others, Ross. That's my problem.
Yeah. No, it's fair. I mean, one of us is going to be. One of us. I mean.
No,
yeah.
you're going to be wrong. You're going to be wrong.
Okay, I've got. We actually the In the Know special. I should have quickly used that. It was a
It's for
beautiful
me to be
segue.
wrong.
No, it is for Ross to be wrong. No, this is to win by over 4 lengths, and this is 2-1. So you were saying that 2-1, about 40 chance to win by over 4 lengths.
Okay.
That's a great bet for me.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean,
Can you get one to win by 10?
I will come up. We'll get 90. I will get on the blower to 90 and tell him to come up with one over 10. That'd be a big prize. How many Triumph Hurdle winners in recent years have won by over 10 lengths? Can't be any, is it?
I mean, Gosham would have done, I guess.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
I can't think of any really.
But no, I think if there were. I mean, these are the sort of markets for some of these odds-on favourites you do
the only
need.
person I said, Our Connor won by a margin, didn't he?
By mile.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've still got the 1, 2, 3 from that Leopardstown race last time out. Like I said, Majborough looks a really nice horse for the future. I thought Storm Heart had everything go wrong in that race. He went off favourite. He was 3 wide. He ploughed through at least 3 hurdles, and he was still going at the line. There's a couple of bigger prices I thought was interesting. The one I think's been completely forgotten is Nürburgring for Joseph O'Brien, who was rated in the 90s on the flat, won first time out, lost the race at Listowel in the stewards' room, won a Grade 3 beating Calaconte, and I thought was really unlucky behind Calaconte and Cargisi. I don't understand if that Cargisi is 6-1, why Nürburgring is double the price. The horse has been kept fresh for the Triumph. He looks a little bit big to me. 14-1 looks a little bit big. Yeah, you quite like Bottler's Secret the other week, didn't you, as well, Tom?
Yeah, Gilles tells me he's not going to run. I thought he ran really well.
I think they said it wasn't going to run.
Right.
I was quite impressed with him. I love the way he strode away from the last at Nace. Navan's quite stiff there. Thought he was as good as Ethical Diamond on the flat. He was 2 from 3 on the flat. Rated in high 90. He must have been rated 89, something like that. He won off 83, I think, and then went up. Must have gone up, but didn't run again afterwards. I think he's pretty good, Bottler's Secret. Whether he runs is the question for me. But if he did run, I think I would back him to be second.
Okay, fair enough. Also, the website I use for lots of trends and stats, which is briangoltstats.com. He asked me to give him a shout because he raises money for charity. He does it all for charity, and there's loads of stats on there. And he tells me that there's only ever been one odds-on winner of this race, and that was at Ativo in 1974. Doesn't tell me how many have run at odds-on.
Is that Sir Peter O'Sullivan's winner?
Yeah, I mean, there used to be 30 runners in it all the time, didn't there?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but there has been short ones, yeah.
It is a short price, though. I mean, that Irish hurdle race has thrown up the winner 8 times in the last 12 years, but only 3 times was it by the winner of that race. I mean, being beaten in that race is no issue when it comes to producing the winner. I thought Storm Heart might be the value, mainly because Madra will be ridden by Mark Walsh, and I think has been talked about as being a horse for the future rather than the now.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
Tannins will ride Stormheart, not Cargees. I don't know.
Well, Danny Mullins will ride Cargees. I mean, he'll stick with the.
Actually,
winning form,
Gavin Corman didn't say he won't go. He just said he's not sure if he will.
Right. Okay.
But just qualify that.
What else have we got? Sergino looks every bit like a superstar, says Paul Best. What else have we got? Sergino to win by 10 will be 50-1. And plus says Dunners. Martin Lewis says 4-6 for beating Burdett Road. Cry laughing face. Which admittedly, that's the other thing, Tom. You said Burdett Road had no chance of winning the Triumph. The horse that goes and beats it. Now you're singing his praises.
It's the figures, Ross, wasn't he? He was faster up the hill than Lossy Mouth. He did everything right. He's just a really good, strong stayer. You need a strong stayer in this. I love him. I think he'll win by miles.
What about Salva? Looks like if the ground's soft enough, Salva might emerge as a runner.
I mean, yeah. I mean, again, people will say, "Oh, he's not beat a lot in heavy ground," but he's another. Horses that just keep winning.
Keep winning, that's right.
And keep winning well. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a bit rough and ready as well. But I mean, I'm ready to be wrong, Tom. But my main point is that 4-6 is ludicrous. Even if he does win by 10 lengths, it's still right now. It's still daft in my eyes. But anyway.
If all those horses who we think are lining up are going to line up, I don't think it'll be 4-6 on the day. I don't know. I just think it'll end up drifting out to a more back or bull price. Definitely.
Well, I mean, if he had a blank first 3 days, the layers will get stuck into it as well, won't they? So we'll have to wait and see. Certainly wouldn't be backing it now.
No, absolutely.
I'm more inclined to agree with Tom that he's easily the most likely winner and he could blow it apart.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. It's just 4-6 in the Triumph. 4-6 in the Triumph.
I bet you'll get evens on the day.
Yeah. Again, I mean, these are the bits that will clip up when he wins by
it's like my theory about the Gold Cup, Ross. You're right. 4-6 in the Triumph. I mean, I could never back a horse at evens for it to win a Gold Cup, and yet lots of people are telling me I'm crazy for wanting to take on Galopin Des Champs. So it's just the way you look at races, I suppose.
Yeah. I am, I know I am prone to be. You look at this race and think it is too short, and it might well be too short, but you still back 2 or 3 each way and lose your money. So it's happened before, it'll happen again. But
it's just for me.
Just for me, 2 or 3 each way, even if I don't think it's too short.
Fair enough.
Exactly. Yeah. Just for me, it's just the lack of opposition. Whereas in the Gold Cup and some of the, I mean, there's loads of opposition for me, but this race I just can't see it. But maybe I've got all these Irish horses wrong.
It's just that again they just improve, don't they, quite quickly? These it's like backing a 4-6. It's like backing a 4-6 2-year-old off one win when you've got loads of other horses who could improve. But anyway, the other race we're going to look at is the Albert Bartlett, the 3-mile novice hurdle, of course, which. I mean, it's hard. I mean, again, it's hard finding the winner of the Albert Bartlett at the final hurdle. Never mind at this point. And we've had some dramatic final hurdles in the Albert Bartlett over the past few years. Reading Tommy Wrong is 5-1. High Class Hero is 6-1. Dancing City is 7-1. Gidley Park is 8-1. Shanna Bob is 8-1. Captain Teague is 10-1. Largy Hill is 12-1. Lecky Watson is 12-1. And it's bigger prices as the rest. And loads are going to run at bigger prices. Your Answer to Caith, you might get, Croke Park turning up, the Jukebox Man. I'm sure Mullins, Cromwell and Elliott will have loads of 25-1 shots. There'll be loads in this race who will all go on to future careers in various different disciplines. But trying to find the winner right now, Keels, is a completely different matter. However, the first 3 in the betting are all trained by Willie Mullins, have all run to a really high level, pretty much guaranteed to stay the trip, and are really experienced. Often in this race, you get quite a lightly raced, maybe fragile type at the top of the bet, and it's not the case this year.
Yeah, there's horses with plenty of experience. I mean, the horses with very little experience that win it turn out to be very good in the end, don't they? Like, you know what I mean? And you normally like something that's really tough. It's sort of gone the other way lately. But they still haven't got, most of them still haven't got experience of big field races. I mean, the ones that have run in big fields, they're normally just won one of those 3 trial races with 14 horses, not wanting to get anywhere near the front. Like, you know what I mean? So they're not proper, 17-runner fields or whatever, are they? No. It's just...
Well, it's a 3-runner race, essentially, those races,
exactly,
aren't they?
Exactly. So here we're going to, I mean, this is the one novice race at the festival that, without fail, always has a massive field. And so many horses have won. There's so many different form lines to choose through. I did like, of the front ones, I liked High Class Hero, but just because I thought he was very easy on the eye to me. Like, you know what I mean? No other reason than that. I don't think his form's particularly better than anything else, but I just like the look of him. The one at a bigger price that I like was Johnny Who.
Johnny who?
Johnny Who.
Johnny who?
Johnny Who, yeah. Trained by John Joe, who trained Blackjack Ketchum,
Yes.
Did, yeah.
which is a lineman. And I think he's absolutely crying out for 3 miles. I mean, his pedigree tells you that anyway, 'cause he's damn one over 4, and he's a brother to Doing for half, or half brother to Doing Fine.
He's going to make a
one
lovely...
over
I'm
3-5.
excited about him over fences.
Yeah, he's a half brother to Doing Fine. Yeah, I mean, it's all stamina in there. He's got outpace in the Charrow, ran on late, got outpace in an even more slowly run race at Cheltenham, and then ran on again. You know, a big field, when they go too fast, and it'll be perfect. And I think he's had enough. Those 2 runs would have toughened him up because John Joe had to get after him both times to try and get him to go. And I just think he's got loads to find. You know what I mean? He's nowhere near the best form in a race.
But that's not what rins the Albert Bartlett, really, is it?
No, absolutely.
It's not your class horses often do get outstayed by the tough ones.
I see. Well, Manila Indo won it at 50-1. Like, you know, and he'd been thrashed by Allo the time before, but it suddenly became a proper stamina test.
Well, Native River was down the field. Was it that year or the year before?
Native River, yes. Yeah, a lot of the horses are too inexperienced and too backward for it, and I think he probably was. I think Shanna Bob almost certainly is. I mean, he'd be the one that, you know, if money, you know, he's down to 8-1 now. Yeah. I mean, if I could lay some tasty prices and all the extra place markets and all that, I would definitely be looking at getting to him because he just looks so green. Doesn't mean he isn't a really good potential chaser with a future, but I think it's way too soon for him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, apart from, the Nice Guy was a funny one, but I think a lot of sort of trends or stats or the type of horse that win races, there's always an asterisk at the end, or Willie Mullins, isn't there? There's always this kind of horse wins this race unless it's trained by Willie Mullins, in which case throw it all out.
I mean, look, but you only have to look at the prices of the winners in the last few years. You know, it's 18-1. The last 2 years have been 18-1, 14-1. The only single figure price winner in the last 10 years is Monkfish, 5-1. Then 50-1, 33-1 Kilbrick and Storm, 16-1 Penn Hill, 11-1. You know what I mean, Harry. It's 40-1 Martello Tower, 33-1 Very Wood.
I say to you, Simon
Clare,
Clare,
to look for an outside.
You take the 10 biggest price, or the 7 biggest price horses, and have them in combination, forecast a child method, and then go on holiday for a month.
And the other thing it's interesting to point out, when you study the Cheltenham Festival, you always focus very hard on the day one, the Supreme, and then you've got the Bearing Bingham on the Wednesday. And this is a tougher race to work out. It's a staying test. But by far, this is the biggest betting race of all the novice hurdles staged at Cheltenham this week. It's something like the 6th biggest race. It's the race before the Gold Cup. It's mad, you know.
Yeah, and it's also a big field. It's also wide open all the time. Do you know what the Strikehouse paid last year?
I just had a look. 52
grand.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good going. Let us know on the chat if you got the TriCast last year and when you got back from holiday. There are loads of interesting horses in here that I like. High Class Hero. What I was quite interested in was, for me, Thurles gets underrated as a track as well. And I thought, I wonder what the stats are. Last time out, Thurles winners at Cheltenham, 10 from 52. £77 profit, 1.82 actual versus expected. You've had some really good horses. Monkfish being one of them in this race. Allaho, of course, at Thurles. I think was the horse Blow by Blow? I think Gordon Elliott won the same race that High Class Hero won, then won the Martin Pipe. Oh no, same race Largy Hill won, and then went on to win. So. Yeah, I think it's actually a good renewal of this race this year on paper, Tom. But again, it's going to be 20 runners.
Absolutely. I like one that's not even on the list because he's not even entered at the moment, but I think he's going to be. Now is the hour. The more I look at this horse, the more I think this horse has got a massive chance. He won at Haydock the other day. I think he's going to be supplemented into the race. Even if you go back to his point-to-point form, he was really good. Then he blew out twice for some unknown reason, but he should have won 3 on the trot now. I thought he was hugely impressive at Haydock last time. I know it wasn't a brilliant race, but it was a grade 2. He won in hand. You know, as the Irish say, which is so ridiculous. I don't know what it means. He won with his mouth open. What does that mean?
He was shocked at how good he was.
Well, if my mouth's open, I'm normally gasping for air, so that doesn't sound like a good idea to me.
If my mouth's open, I'm usually asleep.
It's normally got a pint of Guinness going down.
Yeah, fair enough. He's won with his mouth open. Yeah, okay, yeah, I quite like it.
I like him. I like him a lot now with the hour. He's an absolute rock solid stayer. He's trained by Gavin Cromwell, Vanillier man. I think he's going to run a massive race. I've been told they're going to supplement him. I don't know what price Simon will have him if he supplemented it in. But I think he's got a really, really good chance because I think he's the perfect horse for the race.
I mean, so basically, yeah. I mean, we're doing it. What's the point in doing all these previews if Tom's going to come on and say that the best bet in the Champion Hurdle is horses who aren't entered in the Albert Bartlett and they're going to get supplemented as well?
Well, he was well backed yesterday, wasn't he? He was backed into 10-1, I think, on across the board. I don't know whether he's or what's happened since, but I know he was well backed yesterday. Yeah, I just liked him, and if he turns up, look, if he doesn't turn up, doesn't make any difference, does it? He's not if it's not supplemented in, he's not supplemented in. But I like him a lot as a horse. I think he'd have a massive chance if he ran in here. The other one I like is Gidley Park and Captain Teague. I don't see what's wrong with them. They might not fit the profile, but they can run pretty fast, and that's what I'm more interested in. Yeah. How fast horses can run and whether they, the type of race they run in. And I thought those two both had very good chances. Captain Teague ran a blinder in the bumper last year. He was just hot on the heels of Time Factor File, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So I give him a really good chance in this race. I thought he won the Shallow with his mouth open.
Yeah, fair enough. And he's come here to avoid the Shallow to Bering Bingham killer stat as well. Simon?
Well, that lends Tom's confidence in the British hopes or the English hopes is good news because our in the know special for this race is a UK horse to win the Albert Bartlett at 7-4 was 11-10. So despite the fact that the front few in the betting front three are all Irish trained, Gidley Park, Captain Teague and co representing Team GB. Actually, probably not UK, is it? UK, Northern Ireland.
Do you have a price? I mean, you won't, but can you get me a price of Mullins to win all the novice hurdles and all the novice chases?
Probably, yes.
I would like
not
that price.
right now, but
no, work it out. Come on.
And the Champion Hurdle, and the Champion Hurdle, and the Gold Cup.
Yeah,
and the Champion Chase.
Oh no, but particularly the novice. Particularly, I think a novice.
Yeah, a wipeout.
A novice roll-up.
So what you're saying, Ross, is if he doesn't win the Ryanair, what price he does, that's the only one he doesn't win.
Yeah.
And the Stayers Hurdle.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Currently the Albert Bartlett, obviously, again, I mean, they might just be these prices on the day, Keels, but the ones you're currently most interested in?
High Class Hero at the front and Johnny Who.
Okay. I thought High Class Hero. Quick shout out to one more as well. I'm just seeing if he's not going to the other end. He is in the Martin Pipe actually. Was Answer to Cafe, who I thought had half decent form as well, and he might be a bit overpriced for Terence O'Brien.
What about the Jukebox Man, placed in the Coachella Hurdle? Ben Pauling.
Yeah.
Stable going great guns.
Change the record, Simon.
Very good. I do think, but there's some races do lend themselves to having a good search for the price. You always want to start at the biggest price, working your way down until you find a couple that kind of fit that big price winner profile, because it's good fun having a dart. Sometimes you're backing big prices in races which don't tend to throw up big price winners. This one does. It's worth having a good go at it.
Yeah. Well, because most of these horses are future, staying chasers in 2 years. So it's not necessarily the best horse on the day, or it's not necessarily the best horse overall in the future that wins this race. It's the horse who has matched the conditions. Yeah. And with 20 runners over 3 miles on potentially soft ground, those conditions are going to be pretty grueling. As for our chats box friends, High Class Hero wins with his mouth open, says Connor. Our Connor, as I will tell you and I'll call you. What else have we got? And that's about it in this race, I think. Apart from that. One more. Keen on stellar story for the Albert Bartlett. He'll stay very well, and Gordon Elliott will have him ready for this. You can ignore his Leopardstown run. I think Cheltenham will suit. That's from Mark Smith. Thank you very much. Right, okay, that's not our final preview, actually, because of the cancellation early on in the month. We will be back for Friday night, where we'll get properly stuck into the handicaps and maybe have a look at Saturday as well, because we've got the Imperial Cup and the EBF final at Sandown as well. But of all the things we talked about tonight, Keels, what are you taking away?
Hunter's Yarn's going to win the Arkle Marine National is out. I think it's very easy.
Right, you've waited an hour to bring that horse up. Fair enough. Thanks ever so much. Tom?
I like. I'm not going to. Well, the horse I most like is Now Is the Hour if he gets supplemented in. But I quite sort of warming to your Protectorat theory. The more I think about it, the more you might be right, boys.
Yeah, I'm starting to think, yeah, double figure price each way, stays 3 miles, pops out, struggles to finish out the frame in my eyes. Simon?
I think it'll be a Sir Alex Ferguson 1-2 with Hitman and Protectorate.
There you go. Oh, what a world that would be. Thank you ever so much for joining us. Like and subscribe to the stream. See you on Friday, and see you, of course, all next week, every single night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, for more fun and games. Luckily, we don't have one after Friday, so that Tom can eat his words after Sergino gets swamped up the running, or wins by 10 lengths. Who knows? See you then.